Uncle David. One more thing I'd add: Uncle David has said his vision, his goal for High Noon is that High Noon doesn't need to exist anymore. I mean, that's just his mindset about it.
Is that
It's
his
just
like end goal in a way?
yeah, it's just like if we do our job right, High
Hmm.
Noon doesn't even need to exist.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It just becomes like what's that movie Lucy, where she just like gets infused into the air. She just
Right.
becomes like it just becomes a part of the High Noon just becomes culture. The culture that
right.
everybody just lives freely.
Mm. So what do you guys? What kind of substantial like steps are you taking towards that goal? Like, what kind of progress have you guys seen?
I'll go. So I'm really inspired by how much has changed about just the kind of conversations people are able to have
Hmm.
at church or with whoever that people didn't think would have been possible, 5 years ago. Just, I mean, even if they're using euphemisms like, you have any high noon issues, right? Just like that's a topic that no one even considered broaching, period. Right. Like, when I was going through the matching process and that part of my life, it was like, it was just black or white. Did you have sex with someone?
Hmm.
Right. And then that is okay. No. Okay, great. Now it's our understanding of sexuality has evolved tremendously. That's all of that is imbued in the whole matching process. Like, okay, um, in a relationship, it's not just like penetrative sex, right? It's like there's a whole spectrum of sex
Yeah.
that you can engage in, right?
It sucks,
And that's
man. It's so
really
much
important.
harder now. Trying to qualify the matching these days. All these boxes you got to check: mental health and are you watching pornography? Back in the day, it was just check
Like,
the
are you
box.
breathing? It's
Yes,
like,
yes, yes. I have never had sex done, and it's like,
yeah.
well, I may have received manual copulation from someone, but it was not penetrative sex.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm all clean.
Right, exactly. I mean, but that's because people are so slippery, right? And if you
Yeah.
don't, I mean, this we experience all the time. If you don't ask really directly, then people will slip out of answering anything very explicit,
Hmm.
right? It's like, anyway, no, we don't need to get into that. But like, if you don't ask, hey, have you ever received oral sex directly? Then I mean, a lot of people they would never say so otherwise.
Mm.
Wow.
And but yeah, anyway, so it's so cool. That's one of for me the coolest things. It's like actually in matching processes, it went from a complete like considered irrelevant. Oh, you're watching porn.
Uh-huh.
You masturbate 3 times a day. Okay, well that's not relevant, right?
Right.
To it's like expected that in the matching process, like guys'
Uh-huh.
mindsets now, not if, but like, okay, when do I need to tell my potential match about this,
Oh, right,
right?
right.
And there's this whole idea of like, yeah, this is the thing I need to work on in order to be a good husband, provide the blessing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So for
High
me,
Noon
that's like one really
has
cool thing to
had
see.
a really cool impact for some people, and has been uh, just barely missed the mark for me, my relationship. Um, yeah, I know someone personally who received, I believe it was Sammy's testimony in Korea. I think Sammy gave his testimony about High Noon in Chungpyeong. Um, and they were like, "Oh, it's crazy! Like, he's a church member, and like he was watching pornography in his relationship while he was married and stuff, and like, oh my god!" And but it like opened up their eyes to the problem and how common it was. And this was his sister, and so then when she uh, was approaching the matching, and he came out and said, "Oh, I've watched pornography." She's like, "Yeah, I really expected that. I mean, when they showed us the statistics of how many guys, it's like I'd be winning the lottery if you didn't." Where for my wife, she had the expectation that that was an absolute no, completely off
Mhm.
the table as an
Mhm.
option because
Hmm.
she hadn't gone to Sammy's workshop in Chongqing. So it's great. It's great. It's something that's awful that we need it, but great that we have the medicine, yeah, for this kind of a thing. Because I just feel like for my wife, she has a lot of pain and resentment because she feels like she worked so hard to stay pure, And
That makes
then
sense.
meanwhile, I'm over here, that guy you were talking about masturbating 3 times a day, and then coming to the matching and being like, all right, I'm ready. And her not knowing that it's even going on. And then, yeah, so it's just like, she didn't even know to look out for it.
Mm,
And I feel like going forward, also for her, what it means is so much. It means a lot more to my wife than it did to that person I was talking about, because they were able to get acquainted with it, um, kind of a little bit younger, and um, they were able to adjust their expectations before going into the blessing. Where for my wife,
mm,
her expectation was, uh, I wouldn't say high, but unfortunately out of the current norm.